were bad speakers at first. Okay, so I'm on my way to Dublin in Ireland to go and speak at one of the biggest conferences there. And I just want to answer one particular question before I set off and leave. How do you get speaking appointments and how do you get into public speaking? Give yourself a story that nobody else has. And I think I've done that through the course of my life by taking unordinary steps at unordinary moments, whether it be getting expelled from school, dropping out of university, and the story about my mum not speaking to me for a long, long time, building a business at a very young age, a very, very big business that worked in a very interesting emerging industry like social media.
26, all over social media and influencing you.
I've given myself all these different narratives in order for me to create a unique story to tell on stage. I think the next thing is start speaking before you're a speaker. And you can do that by creating a Facebook page, an Instagram account, by speaking on YouTube, by speaking on Facebook Live, and using the internet as your stage. Start speaking before you're a speaker. And I think the last thing, brand yourself, your personal brand as a speaker. Make sure it's written in your bio, make sure your cover photo, your Tinder profile, make sure your everything portrays you as a speaker. I think the most important point is speaking is all about storytelling, and you have to create and tell a great story. And a story that is unique, that is really compelling, a story that is emotional, and a story that is worth thousands and thousands and thousands of people gathering in a room to hear it. So I guess the next question, now you've got speaking appointments, is how do you become a good public speaker? Just got to Dublin. I'm here speaking at Dublin Tech Summit today. 6,000 people there, super excited. And I think it's my first time in Dublin. This is a very sort of typical public speaking day for me. Arrive early, go to the event, be back to the airport and out. The thing with great public speakers is they have great confidence, and I think there's a misconception that great confidence is an innate thing, something you're born with, or something that the few have that are lucky enough to possess it and the majority don't. But the truth is, and the truth in my life personally, was that great confidence came from great practice. And I remember the first time I spoke on stage publicly, I was 14 years old. I'm now set to speak on the same stage as Obama in front of 15,000 people. I've spoken in front of tens of thousands of people. Fear is highest in things that we are least confident in doing. With everything that you want to become that you're currently bad at, you have to follow a very strict regime, which is try, fail, learn, improve. And if you do that hundreds of times, like I have with public speaking, you develop a certain sense of invincibility, which can only be retained and attained by one simple thing, and that's practice. So now you know how people get good at public speaking. I guess it begs the question, what's the point? Why would you want to get good at public speaking? And honestly, for me, public speaking has completely changed my life. And no matter how many times you speak on stage, no matter how experienced you get, you will always feel a sense of apprehension or nerves before you speak. As Mark Twain said, there are only two types of public speaker in the world: the nervous and the liars. When you think about the impact that public speaking has had on the world, you know, its ability to overthrow governments and to get people elected like Obama, and to change laws and to further the plight of human rights and everything that it's done, it kind of begs the question, why? And I think the thing with public speaking is it's the most powerful human form of communication. There's nothing like feeling and seeing and hearing somebody in person tell a compelling message.
In what will go down in history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation.
The ability to do that is, in my opinion, pretty much a superpower. And it's a superpower that can help you start and sell your business to investors. It's a superpower that can help you get a girlfriend or a boyfriend. It's a superpower that can help you become a motivational coach or build a YouTube channel. It's the same sort of characteristics of just selling publicly and selling in person. That's what I think public speaking is at its most fundamental level, is the most powerful way to sell in person. And so it's a skill that you definitely want to have, and it's a skill that I can honestly say has been, historically, the biggest driver of our business and my personal brand. And it's something that I think if you are able to do and you're able to do well, then you have a massive, 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 massive advantage in life, period. So we know that public speaking is important. So here are 5 tips on how to give a great public speech. Point number 1, you'll never get a second chance to make a first impression. And the same applies for public speaking. Once we've lost our audience's attention, it's very, very hard to get it back. When I walk on stage, I let the room sink into total silence and I just stare at the audience to build tension. And I always make the first 20 seconds catch you off guard. I make it personal, I make it compelling, I make it confusing, and I make it emotional. In the first 20 seconds, you cannot look away. I start with a cliffhanger because I want you to be intrigued. Isn't it funny how sometimes in life, love and heartbreak can teach you really, really valuable lessons? I don't need to start with my name or where I'm from or who I am. I can tell you that once I have you glued. Point number 2, never ever write more than 1 sentence on a slide, and do not read off paper. The audience aren't there to read, and neither are you. They're there to watch like a good movie, and you're there to perform like a good actor. All of my presentations are 99% imagery. The imagery is there to add a visual layer to the story that I'm telling you. I will never ever write more than a few words on a single slide, as your attention is supposed to be on me, and I will never ever read off paper because my full attention is supposed to be on you. Point number 3, make it personal and make sure it's emotional. A personal, emotional, funny story will leave a mark in your audience's memory much more than facts, stats, graphs, and figures ever will. Everybody loves a great story. And even if I'm talking about marketing or business, I will start by telling you the story of how a girl at 5 years old broke my heart. And I learned this through heartbreak and love. I make everything a story. Point number 4, your body speaks louder than your mouth. 90% of communication is non-verbal. Walk up and down, look at every corner of the audience and make eye contact with the people in the audience one-on-one. Do not allow them to look away from you. Change the pitch of your voice, change the pace of your voice, and sometimes, to build effect, turn off your voice altogether. You can say so much by taking a pause, letting the emphasis build, and saying nothing at all. Point number 5, show up to give, not to take. Even at a distance on stage, the audience will be able to tell if you're a giver or a taker. Go on stage and focus on giving. You will take by giving. And that's how trust and reciprocity works. Oh, and of course, one last thing, when you're done, make sure you say thank you. Thank you.